All right, here's another video showing you guys how I retrofit Ethernet cabling with my Apple Vision. So, of course, I use the phones to mark locations when you're having multiple lines to drop. It is very efficient to go ahead and mark them with these 3D objects. That way, when I go up to the attic, I can see every location. Here I go. I easily find the top plate. I know exactly the width of the stud bay because I line up the phones, and right now I'm using a marker to mark them. And of course, some of these locations are under the attic platform, so I will make adjustments and then come back down and move over according to my adjustments. And that way I can avoid the attic platform. So once I made my adjustments, I go back up and remark the locations again for the ones that I couldn't access. And then now I'm just using my drill to drill each location. I'm using a 3/4 nail eating bit. This allows me to just easily drill my holes, and if I run into any nails, I can get through them. Some top plates have nails in them because they're hangers and not really top plates. After I drill, of course, I put rods down the wall. I use rods because I want to make sure I can make it all the way down to the bottom of the wall. So I know how many rods it takes to make it down to the bottom, and I want to make sure before I commit to a spot that I can make it all the way down. All right, so now I am grabbing my wire, and I'm going to pull all these wires down to the crawl space. So that's why I'm using a pulley here. The pulley is going to allow me to basically keep it smooth, and since I'm working by myself today, it won't kink up and I won't have to come out of the crawl space. So basically, this is the corner that I came down in the crawl space. I had already ran this pull string the day before, and now I am routing all the wires back to this, family room here where the modem and router is going to sit. So I'm using my 3D objects to mark these locations so I know exactly where to run my wires to. So pretty much in the crawl space, I want to be the highest wire. So of course I want to go above and keep it high and tight. So any wires or pipes, I just want to stay high and tight. Once I've fish it up the wall to the actual modem location, the next thing I'm going to do, of course, is make sure I have everything. There's one wire that I had a hard time getting, but I was able to pull it out of this crevice with the use of my inspection camera. I had a pull string there. Here's the router side again. I'm just pulling the wires out of the wall. I stuffed them up. Usually if I had a helper, the helper would be doing this part, but since I'm by myself, I'm just trying to be as efficient as possible. So I tie a knot in it, make sure they don't fall back down. And now I go up to the attic and I tape on my cable to the rods and basically backfeed each wire to its proper location. I am backfeeding once again because I don't have a helper, so I had to do it this way. Usually I have the box of cable in the room and just pull straight from the wall, but I don't have anyone to help me if the wires get stuck, so I'm doing it the most efficient way. After I put the cables in the wall, make sure I had enough cable, now I finally secure my cable. So of course I want them all to look neat. I want to keep it off of electrical, and I also want to keep it off of any hard corners or sharp edges or anything like that. So that's all I'm doing. Just using zip ties, keeping my pull string and all of the Ethernet wires all together. The pull string is just if in the future someone wants to add wires, that's all the pull string is there for. It can be cut and tied onto. So I'm just placing the insulation back, and now it's time to retrieve the wires out of the wall. Of course, I have my floor protection now. Before I would just usually just vacuum all the debris up, but I see a lot of comments said that it was better to have a drop cloth. So I found these disposable bags that you can tape to the wall, and that's what I'm doing now. It comes with the tape already attached to the bag, so it was easy to deploy it and put it on the wall. And I don't have to vacuum anymore. I can just grab the whole tape bag and throw it away altogether, and I can make a big mess with everything. As you see, I have my template. I pretty much try to line it up with the outlet, make sure it's level. I use a laser level to make sure it's level, and then from here, I finally go up to the attic to secure my cables, take everything off of the pulley. I no longer need it anymore. I don't want to leave it behind. I go ahead and tie up the pull string, make sure it's accessible the next time and it's in the obvious view. And then here I am right now, just zipping the cables and stapling them. Basically, in the attic, I want to be the lowest cable. So it's kind of the opposite of the crawl space. Crawl space, I want it to be the highest cable. In the attic, I want to be the lowest cable. So I'm just stapling it, making sure it's out of the walkway and off of the platform. All right, so now I'm done in the attic. So now I'm just putting the face plates on and terminating. I used to use couplers, but now I'm using keystones, punch down keystones, and I have a quick connect tool, so I'm able to punch them down a lot faster than having to individually punch each one. So I love that tool, and it's making me a lot faster. So like I said, with the mesh, I'm not concerned with this drop cloth, and that little remote you saw me stick in the wall, that's pretty much my continuity tester, basically testing to make sure I terminated correctly. I use B scheme. I used to use A scheme, but that was because I was an AT&T tech. But now I use B scheme since that's what everyone else is doing. I just don't want to argue, and plus I want to make it easier for my helpers, so I use whatever they're most familiar with, and most of them have commercial backgrounds, so I make sure I do what's easier for them and less mistakes. So here I am at the head end. This is basically back in the family room, so I'm terminating all of them. I've marked on them with Sharpie so I know where each room is going. So I'm just terminating, and then after that I will be ready to test. Testing, I just use a regular basic continuity tester. It can tell me length, and it can tell me just making sure my pairs are in the right row and all of them are responding. Basically just a basic continuity tester. I like this one. It's really fast, and I like that it gives me length too. So if something does fail, I do a length test and it'll tell me exactly which end the fail is on. Some testers tell you the remote end or the tester end, but I like running the length test because it'll tell me if the open is, right there or if it's far away. So that's how I use that. Also, it helps me just identify if there's shorts or nails or screws or anything else in my wire. Sometimes an accident can happen. But basically, I'm done here. I'm putting the faceplate on. I'll return with patch cords and labels. All right, so here's the route. I went from the corner of the attic down to this kid's bedroom, then from the kid's bedroom down to a corner in the family room, then from the family room to the crawl space, and then back up to the entertainment stand.